This is a video game. This is what you immediately think of whenever you hear the term. It's the Atari 2600, and it defines the word classic. Even though the games are so simple and the graphics so primitive, it has a charm that will never be matched. The objects and characters just barely represent what they're supposed to be, but that's the whole beauty of it, that you have to use your imagination. The sound effects? Just awesome. And the lack of music just enhances the mood. It's that special kind of atmosphere when it's in the middle of the night and you're sitting in the glow of your TV with the sound of crickets. The Atari had the longest lifespan of any home video game system, and when people say Atari, they're usually referring to the 2600. But in between its existence, Atari made other systems which came and went, and one of these was the Atari 5200. It was meant to replace the 2600, although ironically, it failed and faded away while the 2600 lived on. Why don't many people remember this, and why did it die off so quick?
Because it's a pile of fucking shit. Why? Well, just look at it.
Look at how huge this beast is. It's ginormous. And why is there a door on it? Is this a video game console or a fucking closet? Even the AC adapter weighs 1,000,000 tons. So, I'm gonna plug this son of a bitch in here. There we go. Get all this shit out of the way. Now, where do I plug the other end in? Doesn't it go into the Atari? Well, you can look all over the system, but there's no power connector. There's a separate box that you have to plug it in. Now, seriously, have you ever seen one of these? Other than the Atari 5200, I haven't. So you plug this bastard in, and then there's this one wire coming out of the system, so you plug that into the box. Whoa, did you see that? That can't be good. Look, sparks. No joke. So anyway, the AC adapter and TV actually share the same wire.
So, I don't know what they were thinking. I mean, maybe they were thinking it'd be more convenient to have less wires running across your floor, but they knew that they fucked up because later they re-released the Atari 5200 with the traditional 2 separate wires instead of just, this thing. But that one had 2 controller ports instead of 4, I think.
Now, we want to hook this thing up to that TV, but it's not going to be easy. I mean, just look at all these games, and every one of them has their own AC adapter and RCA cables, or those weird box things, all going into the same TV. So, I don't know how we're going to do it, but we got to get back there and plug this sucker in.
That TV is just out of the question. It's a little too busy back there, but that's okay because I believe the only true way to play Atari is on an old piece of shit like that. Damn. Damn!
Fuck! You son of a bitch.
Now, after all that trouble I went through, let's play some damn games.
Well, we haven't played the games yet, but I can definitely tell you the cartridges suck because they don't have end labels. I mean, come on! The Atari 2600 games were all conveniently labeled so you can easily pick out a game, but the 5200, you have to pull each one out to see them. I mean, what a bunch of shit. Alright, let's try this one out. So, okay, here we go. Now, listen, when you hit the power button, the box makes this weird clicking sound. I'm afraid this thing might blow up. This controller is a piece of shit.
What's the most important aspect about any fucking game? Well, being able to fucking play it. And what do you need to fucking play it? A fucking controller. So what do you do when the controller doesn't work? You're fucked. This is the reason the system failed. This. In the name of God, heaven and hell, everything in between, every creature on earth, by the far reaches of the galaxy, by the inner rims of the universe, and every megaverse in the ultraverse, let it be known. Let the word be known. This controller is fucking horrible. Well, tell you the truth, it is true that the controllers were notorious for malfunction, but they were pretty innovative for their time.
For one thing, they're analog, so they're capable of more sensitive movement. They also have a pause button, which, believe it or not, was a new thing back then. Also, there's these two buttons on each side, which I think was a bit excessive for these type of games. Then there's all these numeric buttons. Like, what the shit is this? Is this thing a phone?
Like, what is all this for? Is it like talking to intergalactic space aliens, or flying fuckernauts, or astro bastards?
Now there's another one, the trackball controller, but it's an ungodly abomination that begs for apocalypse. Look at it. It's like as big as a VCR or DVD player. It's big enough to be the game system, let alone the controller. Look, it's almost as big as the Nintendo. I mean, no, look, I think it's slightly bigger than the Nintendo. What a beast! But the ultimate question is, does it work? Well, does it? No, it doesn't.
What a piece of shit. Well, we can't play the games, but we could at least look at them. We don't have to stand for this shit. There exist alternatives. Did you know that you can plug a Sega Genesis controller into an Atari 2600 and it'll work? See, that's the interesting thing about Atari. You can find all kinds of different stuff that's compatible. As for the 5200, there exists third-party controllers made for the reason of replacing the shitty controller that the system came with. So, let's take a trip into the cyber world known as the internet and take a look.
There we go.
Alright. Okay, let's play this bitch.
Ghostbusters. It was one of the most successful comedies of the 80s and one of the most popular franchises I remember as a kid. There's a sequel, a cartoon series that ran for 7 seasons, a huge amount of merchandise, and a line of action figures. You got the Firehouse, which was awesome. You got the Ecto-1, you got Slimer, the Marshmallow Man. Yeah, he's a little dirty, you know. The dog shoved him up his ass. You had all the Ghostbusters, then they came out with versions that made facial expressions, then there's this car that turns into some praying mantis or something, then you had all these weird ones I don't even remember from the show. This one, I don't think... Oh, that's not mine. Get that the fuck out of here.
And every kid on the block needed a proton pack, and even though it's plastic, in our minds, it's an unlicensed nuclear accelerator.
Then you got the ghost trap, which doesn't work anymore because it's a piece of shit. Then you got the PKE meter, which always reads .03 and always shows a ghost.
So, I just wanted to take you back to the 80s, when Ghostbusters and Nintendo were the best things in the world. Now, the Nintendo Entertainment System, I believe, needs no introduction. So, when we heard that a Ghostbusters game for Nintendo was coming out, we were so excited, we shit our pants. Literally, shit came out our asses and we rocketed through the roof. It was two of our favorite things coming together. Should have been like bread and butter, but more like dead skunk and dog shit.
You pop this piece of crap in, expecting Ghostbusters, and what do you get? Well, Ghostbusters, got the logo there, looks promising enough.
But are you willing to bet that it's going to get really bad once you start playing? Yeah, well, guess what? It gets bad as soon as you press the start button. The fuck was that?
Ghostbusters!
Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to criticize the game for its lack of voice clarity, but you hear how bad this sounds? Let this set the tone for the rest of the game.
So here's the main screen. This is it. This is Ghostbusters on Nintendo. This is my wasted childhood you're looking at. I don't even need to comment. Just look at it. It's shits for the birds. Okay, we gotta come up with a game about Ghostbusters. What can we do? How about just have the Ghostbusters logo floating around playing tag with cute little yellow ghosts? So if you like Ghostbusters, it's right up your alley. More like up your ass. Now for music, you got the Ghostbusters theme song, which sounds like a decent 8-bit rendition, but there's one problem. It's the only song in the whole game, and it never ever stops. It starts playing from the first screen all the way to the end of the game. It drones over you, makes your brain go numb, and then when it gets to the end of the song, it pauses for a second, then it loops again. So you better get used to it. But let me tell you, that 1 second when the music stops, it feels so satisfying to hear dead silence, even for just one brief moment, to put your mind at peace. So seriously, what am I doing? Why am I just a Ghostbusters logo floating around playing tag with ghosts? Well, from what I understand, the more ghosts that go into the ZeZoo building in the center, the more the PKE energy goes up, I guess. And what happens when it goes up all the way? I don't know, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man appears or some shit like that. But I'm not here to try and figure out how the game works. I'm here to retell my experience as a gamer. Now, what am I trying to do? What is this white box that keeps appearing when I press the B button? Well, I'll explain later. So, here's what you're supposed to do. You need to find which buildings have ghosts in them. And they vary at any point in the game. So you need to go around the city, and when you touch certain buildings, they blink red. And that means that there's a ghost in there. You try to enter, and oops, you can't do that yet. You need to buy your proton pack and ghost traps. The Ghostbusters don't have their own equipment, so they have to go buy it from a store. So this is it. This is the ghost busting store.
When and where would there ever exist a store that sells equipment for catching ghosts? And if the Ghostbusters aren't inventing their own gadgets, then who the hell is?
Anyway, buy your shit, then get out. Now we can see that weird white box shows you what equipment you have, and you can hold 4 items at a time. Go find a blinking red building and then go in. Now you're in the Ecto-1, driving down the road, and why you still have to drive to the building is beyond me. On the map screen, it looks like you're right there, and when you move all around, you don't have to drive. Only when you're already at the building do you need to drive there. Well, every other car in the city is out to hit you. They move back and forth, nobody stays in their lane, so it seems like the city actually has a bigger problem with drunk drivers than it does with ghosts. Oh, and guess what? When the cars hit you, who has to pay for the damage? You do. That's right, every car that hits you takes a few $100s away. It's bullshit. So you get to the building to capture the ghosts, drop the trap, catch the ghosts with your beam, bring him to the trap, open the trap, and time it so the ghosts get dragged in by that white thing that goes up and down. So keep going around, finding buildings to go in, avoid drunken drivers, and catch more ghosts. When you catch ghosts, you get money, and you're gonna need it to buy other stupid shit later. Now there's a time limit, so when you're catching these ghosts, your goal is to catch as many of them as you can. Most of the time, you'll probably be able to get all 4 of them, but sometimes they go somewhere you can't reach without buying a longer beam. But good luck catching enough of them so you can afford a longer beam. Sometimes they go too low and you can't reach them there either. Now, whatever you do, don't cross the streams. This is an important safety tip thanks to Egon from the movie. It would cause a total protonic reversal. Try to imagine all life as you know stopping instantaneously and every molecule in your body exploding at the speed of light. Now that's epic. Now, every time you catch a ghost, you can't reuse the same trap. So if you try to enter a building, you might get a message that says you need an empty ghost trap. So you need to go to the Ghostbuster headquarters to empty the traps. When you get there, you may be baffled to see that the size of the car is the same size of the building. So as you're constantly running around, emptying your traps, you'll keep running out of gas. That's right, you can run out of gas in the game. How do you get gas? You need to go to the gas station. What happens if you run out of gas? 2 little fuckballs get out to push the car. Do you really have to go to the gas station at all? No, you can also slam in the gas tanks on the highway. So fuck the gas station. I wish it was that easy in real life. Need gas? Just run over the gas containers. So, because needing to get gas, needing to empty your ghost traps, and needing to buy stupid shit are all such a big part of the game, it would be wise from the beginning to buy a super trap as one of your first items. This trap you don't need to empty, so the regular trap is just a piece of crap. Another thing you might want to buy is the ghost vacuum. It's a vacuum that goes on the top of your car to suck ghosts in, which is a good idea to get a little extra money so you can hopefully make up for some of the damage that the drunk drivers cause. A ghost vacuum. Does there exist any store that sells a ghost vacuum? Let's find out. Hi, do you sell vacuums?
Yeah.
I'm looking for a special kind of vacuum. It's like shaped like a funnel, sort of.
What kind of vacuum?
It's like shaped like a funnel, like you put it on the roof of your car.
You want a vacuum to clean your car?
No, you put it on the top of your